United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, good evening and welcome everyone to the January 7th meeting of the Ashland City Council. First meeting of 2025. Welcome all. I want to begin this evening with a moment of silence to acknowledge the passing of Director Paxton's wife, Kathy, who passed away January 2nd. And if you would join me in acknowledging her passing. Thank you, everyone. On behalf of the council, Director Paxton, we extend our sincere condolences to you and your family.
Greatly appreciate that.
Absolutely. We'll begin tonight with the approval of the minutes. We have two special sessions to approve. First being special session on December 30th. If there are no additions, deletions, or corrections to those minutes, I'll ask for a motion to approve as submitted.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Lawson.
Aye.
Workman.
Aye.
Kyle.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Woodward.
Aye.
Second one would be the special session, which was December 31st. And again, if there are no corrections to those minutes, I'll ask for a motion to approve as submitted.
So
Move
moved.
to approve.
Second.
Thank you.
Lawson.
Aye.
Workman.
Aye.
Kyle.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Woodward.
Aye.
Minutes will stand approved. We have one ordinance this evening. This will be an ordinance adopting a permanent appropriations measure for the calendar year ending December 31st, 2025, repealing all temporary appropriations and declaring an emergency.
Move for non-reading in full.
Second.
Thank you.
Lawson.
Aye.
Workman.
Aye.
Kyle.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Woodward.
Aye.
Even though it's the only ordinance on the agenda, it is an extremely important ordinance. So with that, Larry?
And one we usually don't do this early in the year, I might add. But, thank you. Thank you for your kind words previously. This evening's ordinance allows the city to enact a 2025 spending appropriations. This is an appropriations. This is not a temporary. It is not anything more than this is the beginning of our accounting year's appropriations. What that does is allow the city to enact these numbers into its accounting system and then begin the process. This probably will not be the final version by the time we get to December of this year, but it is the beginning process to get things in place so departments can anticipate their spending amounts and some of those projects that we have been working on or will be working on in this year. It allows us to enact this funding so that we can get this on the books and get started a lot earlier than what we have been able to do in a few years. This process is not something that is done overnight. We started this in July of 2024. Several revisions, several adjustments. It also takes into consideration the 2025 tax budget that you all passed in 2024 for this year, so that it sets property taxes rates that the county auditor will collect, and as well as a park levy funding, so that we can go and fund our operations with that money, as well as our income tax, as well as our utility revenues that we charge our customers to provide them with utilities. It does fund all of the existing departments and funds that we had in 2024, except there were a few project funds that were carried over from the previous year that we had to account for grant money coming in. That is not anticipated happening in 2025. For example, the 16 East Main Street project, or West Main Street project, excuse me, that was completed. Grant money came into it. We accounted for that in 2024. That does not show up in this year's appropriations, okay? Altogether, the numbers that you have in front of you equate to about $89 million in expenditures if we were to spend every dollar. We do not anticipate spending every dollar. That is not a good practice to do, and there is some cash carryover that we will be using in 2025 from the good fortune that we've had in the previous year in an effort to help fund some of this. It does take into consideration some projects that were carried over. For example, the water softener project that was in process at the end of '24 will be completed in 2025. If you recall, that's well over $1 million project all by itself. Most of that is being funded either by the water fund or the water capital improvements surcharge that we all pay as a part of our utility bill. That may not sound like a whole lot, but that is a pretty big deal as far as I'm concerned, because we're kind of paying for that ourselves. We're making that improvement so that we can provide good quality service and utilities to our customers, and we're paying for a lot of that ourselves. The city has also had the good fortune of acquiring several grants with the help of the mayor and the engineering department and other departments to help subsidize some of our appropriations. That saves us from having to pay the entire bill ourselves by utilizing that grant funding to help complete the project, but with additional monies either coming from the state or through the federal government. So that does help save us some money as well.
Sure.
Altogether, it does include the funding and mechanism to continue to employ all 250 of our employees that we employ today and provide the payroll as well as the benefits for them. It does include cost of operation, increased cost of operation for both personal services and benefits for those employees, and to the best of our ability, increased operational cost for those departments that, such as the water and sewer departments, that require a lot of expense in order to provide quality product and doing that. It also, this is, I think the mayor and I got an email this afternoon from the city engineer. I think he's a little ready to do paving already this year. And this allows him to go and do, take those numbers and start working them so that instead of paving streets in the fall, why we can pave them hopefully in the warmer months of the year.
Sure.
So we've had 2 hearings on this previously in December, which is the requirement to do that. And it has been published on our website so that the public can see the appropriations as you see them. And we have received some comment, both internally from some of the departments in an effort to try to, for them to understand and to see where their allocations and their appropriations would be for the coming year, as well as some, not a whole lot, but some public comment as well, which was fine. We want our citizens to understand how we do things. So in doing that, why, I believe that we're ready to put this in play as early as tomorrow if approved.
Great, all right. Any discussion from council? I know we've been over this a couple times already preliminarily, but if there's any other comments or questions, now would be the time. Hearing none, then, is there a motion to approve the ordinance on the first reading?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
Lawson,
Aye.
Workman,
Aye.
Kyle,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Woodward.
Aye.
I'll move to suspend the rules for 3 separate readings, 3 separate days.
Second.
Thank you.
Workman,
Aye.
Kyle,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Woodward,
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Motion to approve the ordinance?
So
Move to
moved.
approve.
Second.
Thank you.
Kyle,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Woodward,
Aye.
Lawson,
Aye.
Workman.
Aye.
Ordinance 1-25.
All right. Very good. We have no resolutions this evening, no public hearing items, no old business or new business unless council has something to bring forward. Finance Director's report. Larry, do you have anything?
I ask respectfully to be excused.
Yes.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you again, Larry. We'll move right to council comments. Mr. Lawson, if you'd like to go first.
Just Happy New Year. There's nothing to report on right now. Everybody seems to be happy and uh, taking very good pains and cautions in the snow, I think. But yeah, I've not received any other comments.
Good. Mrs. Woodward?
I don't really have anything either.
I know we were just here, so.
Yes. I think I'll just echo.
Seems like it
Happy
anyway.
New Year.
Yes. Mr. Miller?
Just kudos to the street department for doing a great job on the, cleaning the streets. I mean, they were, in the morning, they were ready to go, so just appreciate their being out there. I'm sure whatever hour they were out, but it's a good group, so we appreciate that.
I agree. Mr. Kyle?
I would echo the street department. I had a constituent that had an issue with some parking being blocked by some leaves that were misplaced in the wrong, they were put in the street instead of the curb, and in amongst getting all the snow moved, the street department got up and cleaned up the leaves in 1 day's notice. So to Jason and his team, thank you.
Yeah.
That made one of our citizens very happy. So
They certainly go above and beyond.
they do, they do. So
With that, Mayor, I'll hand it over to you.
Well, Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year, and we're off to a good start. That is actually the earliest in the year we have ever had our budget in place. And the finance director did point out that the city engineer was anxious to get our paving program started. The last several years, he has repeatedly expressed his concern that when we do approve our budget late in the spring, it prevents us from going to bid on our summer pavement program. And as a result, usually many of the contractors that would normally bid on our work, they already have their schedules full for the summer months, so they're reluctant to bid on our project. And then when they do bid on our project, they're not necessarily as competitive in their pricing because they've already got a full workload already planned throughout the season, and there's always the concern whether or not they'd be able to squeeze our streets in by the time the fall temperatures dip down below the allotted levels. So this is a great thing that we did this year, and I appreciate the city council and the finance director's staff for all the work they did to make sure that we got this together in time to start the new year with a budget in place. Also, I could have noted this during the presentation, but I will now. It was pointed out by the finance director that we have an $89 million budget. And I know that came up in several of the hearings. There was a brief discussion about that. The way you have to look at that is the general revenue fund is about 16 million. And that is the part of the budget that we probably interact with the most. A lot of the other are state and federal funds and grant funds and enterprise zone funds that are flowing in and out. But the general fund is what this body and myself probably have the most impact on how we spend it. Those are the dollars that are paying for police and fire. Those are the dollars that are paying for all of the services that people expect from our city government. And the good news is, when you take a look at the numbers, our expected revenue for 2025 is projected to be no less than it was in 2024. That's critical, because we don't want to go backwards. And of course, as you know, we always make very conservative projections, and this is good that we're starting from a number that's still bigger than it was last year. So, for what it's worth,
Thank you.
appreciate all your work and approve on that budget. The other item I want to mention to you here is we have in our city, it was put together by our Ohio Revised Code, a Community Reinvestment Area Housing Council. This is a committee that each year, at least when we have CRAs in place for housing, they meet and make sure that all of those that are receiving CRA tax incentives for housing projects, those would be things like the apartments on George Road or Arrows Landing. This committee makes sure that they're dotting all their i's and crossing all their t's, that they're paid up, that all their utility bills are paid, because certainly we're not going to give anyone a tax incentive who is failing to pay their water payment or sewer payment or trash payment and so on. Well, this committee consists of a variety of different members, but two of those members come from the city council. So tonight I would ask the council if you could please designate two of you to serve on that committee. It only meets once a year usually, and usually in the spring, and perhaps even a alternate in case someone can't be at the meeting. So I know Angela Woodward from Ward 4 has served previously on the council, but we need a second member.
And you'll remain,
Correct.
correct?
Yes, correct.
And the council spoke earlier, and Mr. Caio has agreed to serve as the second council member
Yes, sir.
with Mr. Lawson as alternate.
Very good.
That should
Very
fill
good,
the bill
excellent.
there.
So if we can just note that in the minutes, that we now have our two officials, representatives from the city council. They're 3-year terms, and we'll make your terms start January 1st of 2025. So you'll be around the end of 2028. Now, and then finally, as you mentioned, we just had a meeting last week, so we don't have a lot of new items to offer you tonight. But the one I would like to point out, because it's kind of been going on behind the scenes, with the holiday season unfolding, Christmas and New Year's, a lot of people focused on all those fun activities. We really haven't acknowledged the fact that while all the holiday festivities have been taking place, and the temperatures have been dropping, and the snow has been falling, we have been getting rid of more and more blight in our community. In September, we received a $1 million grant from the state of Ohio to demolish 12 different structures around the city. Some of these are abandoned homes and structures that are collapsing. Others are industrial and commercial buildings. And two that are very significant that kind of happened without any fanfare. Number one, the old thrift store on Orange Street. I'm not sure if you all noticed, but it is gone. We did save the cornerstone from that building, so I believe it said Crumrine, and we'll figure out where that ends up. Perhaps it'll end up at the Historical Society. There are still some family members around who are interested in it, but that building is down. And that, of course, was covered by this state grant, so no local funds were required for that. So that's a great blessing. That sets the stage for the future development of that area, which we're calling the Pump House District. And according to the president of Vision Development, that project should move forward full steam ahead, he said, here in 2025. So that was a good first step. Also, today, some of you may see that Simonson Constructions have started demolishing the old manufacturing portion of what many of us would identify as National Latex. National Latex was founded here in 1939 by Harry Gill, and at one point, I think most of you know the lore, at one point, Ashland, Ohio was designated the balloon capital of the world. And that was because more than 70% of the balloons that were produced in the world at one time were produced right here in Ashland. And it was a combination of National Latex and the Eagle Rubber Company that did that. And then fast forward a few years later, the company actually was the first to come up with vinyl play balls. And so there was an era here in our history where that's certainly something that we were known for across the globe. And but today, the demolition of the old manufacturing facility where all that work used to take place, began. And once it's all cleaned up, the new portions of that National Latex facility and complex will be kept and maintained. The office building, which is probably the best looking of all of the complex, it will also be preserved. And right now, a local entrepreneur is working on repurposing that for a new business. So it's just another step in revitalizing that whole 4th Street area that we're calling the Pump House District. And it's exciting because we're getting to do that work without utilizing any of that money that you see in that budget that you just approved.
Great.
So that is great news, because those demolition projects are not inexpensive. And I think that's all.
All right, very good. With that, then, we'll move to comments and questions from our audience. If anyone would like to address council, you're more than welcome to come up to the podium and do so. And seeing none, then, we'll move right to adjourn unless council has any other items to bring forward. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
Lawson.
Aye.
Workman.
Aye.
Kyle.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Woodward.
Aye.
Very good. We are adjourned. Thank you all.